Hi, this is Stephen Williams with thecreditrepairshop.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about some more plays when dealing with collection agencies, because what I have in my hand right here is a list, and this is the first time ever, this is a record, this is the first time ever that over 200 million, look at this, look how many zeros. 200 million, $200 million in bad debt is being released, has been sold. I have the list right here, has been sold. One company had over $42 million, $42 million worth of bad debt that they have sold. Another company, $32.3 million. Another company, $13 million. These are just the big ones. I used to consider big was like 2 million, 1 to 2 million. There's several on here that have reached 5 million, 6 million, 5.4, 3.9, 2.1, 2.6, 42, 32, 13, 5, 10, 20, 30 million dollars worth of bad debt on the market. Do you know? And on the letter that this was attached to with the email, they had said it's going to be a better year than last year on collecting the bad debt. So now let me go over the plays. If you remember what I told you about, I said that if you're going to be successful with fighting debt collectors, you're going to have plays. Remember that video I made, and I made like a football field, and I was like, you got to be able to react to what they're doing to you, or you're going to find yourself where they score a touchdown and they're going to take all your money. Now, so let's go over it real quick. Let's break it down. Let's look at the debt collectors plays. So the debt collector. These are the plays that they're going to run. What they're going to do first, they're going to send you a letter, and they're going to give you 30 days to respond to that letter. It looks like a bill, but it's not actually a bill. It's asking you if you remember this debt, or are you going to pay it if you do remember it, or do you want to dispute it. You have 30 days to do that, but you have to make sure that they get that. Most reputable debt collection companies, if you send it, even if you don't send it certified mail, if you send a dispute, they're going to respond to it because they want to do business the right way. So if there is no response from you, then what they're going to do is they're going to assign it. So if there's no response, which is what most people do, is they don't respond, they're going to assign it to an attorney in your area. So there's several attorneys. What I call them is they're just, this is the way that they really make a living. They're not very aggressive. What they do is they show up in court for various companies to just, say that they're representing their client, therefore, to get a judgment going. So what they're going to do is they're going to assign it to that attorney. That attorney is going to issue a summons on the behalf of whoever the debt that they're collected for. That attorney is going to show up in court, and then there's going to be either two outcomes. They're going to either get a default judgment, or you're going to show up in court and they're going to still get a judgment because your argument did not convince the judge that you shouldn't have to pay the bill. So then next step, what they're going to do, which in most cases they've already actually done this even before this step, because this strategy that they're using now. But they're going to find your employer. Now, how are they going to find your employer? They're going to simply look on your credit reports, and they're going to find where you work at. They're going to also do searches on any products or services that you've purchased, because companies are willing and able to sell that information. But they're going to do various database searches to find your employer. Once they find that, they're going to submit to garnish your wages. So this is their play. This is, this can all take some months to play out, but you can see that this is their playbook on what they're going to do. And the reasons why more of them are even willing to go with this strategy is because of this right here. And before, the debt collectors used to be more willing to settle the debt, until there were some debt collectors that said, why don't we try to employ this strategy? And that's where they look at where you're working, and then they say if they owe that debt, they're going to research, and if they figure that they can eventually garnish the wages, then they're going to take on a strategy of investing the money to do this. Depending on the area that they're in and the attorney that's going to be working with them, they could be spending $250 to $500 just to do this strategy here, this play. The reasons why they'll be willing to do that is because if they get a garnishment, they're going to be able to stack on all of the fees for all the years that the debt was hanging out there. They're going to get to stack on all the attorneys' fees and the court costs. They're going to be able to recoup all of that. So they're looking at, in most cases, they could be making 1,000 to 2,000% back on their small $200 to $500 investment that they're going to be making. So they're willing to do that. Now, here go your plays. And like I said, you have to have a game plan to counteract all of this at each step. And as we go through this, you might find that you're past certain steps. We're going to get into the plays that you'll be able to run at that time. So the first play is, if you get that letter, you get that 30-day letter from the collection agency, you need to dispute / validate. So it's not on your credit report. When they send this letter out, 9 times out of 10, it's not on your credit report. If it is on your credit report, you need to dispute it, and then you need to also validate it with the collection agency. So this is going to be with the bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. This is going to be with the collector. Now, when you dispute, you're going to do a regular dispute letter saying that you're not clear about the debt from that specific collector. When you validate it, you're going to be validate number one, the original contract. You're going to make sure that it's not past any statute of limitations for your state. You're going to also request information on the balances. You want to see all of the charges or how the invoices were generated. And also you want to see a contract with the debt collector to see if it was assigned to them, to see if they purchased the debt. You want to see the flow of how they ended up being able to come to you to send you this letter here. Now, once you pass that, let's just say that they get past that, they get you all the information, they send you all the contracts, you know that this is going to be a debt that you have to pay. Right then and there, your next play needs to be to try to settle. The reason why that's the best play at this point is because you have not allowed them to get to where they started spending money in court. Because once they get past this part here, they're going to start getting very aggressive, and they're going to start researching more about your employment history. So right then and there is the best time. And also, because we know these collection companies are paying thousands of dollars to get they're buying a lot of debt, but they're also putting a lot of money out there. And the first rule of business when you're doing anything, the first rule is to make your money back. And what they like to do, rather than add to what they spent already to buy the debt, is that they would like to start collecting money on the debt that's out there, even if it's smaller amounts. This is where you're going to probably get the best offer to do a one-time settlement. And you can also still get a nice settlement even if you have to do payments at that point there. Now let's say that it does get to the judgment phase. Once it gets to the judgment phase, these are your plays that you have. The first play that you need to run is to see if you qualify to be garnished. A lot of people don't know this, but we've done this for numerous customers in our area, where it is that you need to see if you even qualify to be garnished. And let me tell you some of the things that first can tip off if you don't qualify to be garnished. And that's where, if you're receiving all your income from disability or you're on disability, you're getting child support. In certain areas, child support cannot be garnished. Also, if you are below the poverty line, now let me clarify being below the poverty line. That just means that you may not be necessarily in poverty, but what the government does is it allocates a certain amount of money per dependent that you're taking care of. So you could be making an income that qualifies to be garnished, but if you have 1, 2, 3 kids in the household, if you're a married couple and the wife or the husband is not working, and those all count as dependents. If you have an elderly parent staying with you or another relative staying with you, that counts. And there's usually a worksheet, and what you would do is you would see if, including what your income is on either bi-weekly or weekly basis, however you get your income. Then there's deductions for each dependent that you have, and you may not qualify to be garnished. The next one is to, if they have the judgment, is to again go into the settlement. So you try to do a settlement. What I've seen, and I even personally experienced this when I had a judgment against me a long time ago. You saw that video. Is that when I had went through the whole process, and at the time of court, which I could have not paid anything because of statute of limitations, but at least I learned that at the time at court, that me and the attorney sat down and we worked out a settlement to not even get it to go into a judgment. It was going to be a judgment if we didn't get a settlement. The judge allowed us 20 minutes to sit down in a room, and we worked out a deal, and I settled that a $4,500 potential judgment for $500 right at that time. And so you will have that opportunity to do that. And at that time, the judge will sometime allow you to do payment arrangements and not put the judgment on you. That's going to be dependent upon the attorney. What they can do is they can set the payment arrangement up, and then they can defer out, a number of months to come back into court if you're not meeting those payment arrangements. And the next one is, if you do get a judgment against you, and you're all the way past this step, they're already garnishing and everything, is that you can renegotiate the amount of the monthly or weekly payments that they're taking out of your check. A lot of people don't even know that you can do that. When you're looking at doing something like this, this is the way that you need to bring this up to the attorney that's handling the account, is you just got to let them know that it's putting on too much hardship, and that it's going to put your income in jeopardy from you being able to support your family. So it would be best if they want to continue getting the payments and not put you into a bankruptcy situation, that they need to renegotiate the payments that they're taking out on the judgment. So now these are your plays. So you can see that there's always alternatives. That's the reason why I make these videos. The reasons why I try to break it down in these different ways, and I use words like plays, like they're doing in football or sports, is that I just want to show you that there's always opportunities, there's always options, because I've seen where people, especially when it comes to finances, that they believe that there's no options. As long as you keep using your mind and you keep thinking of different ways that you can work your way out of the problem. That's all it is it's just a problem that you need to think and figure out ways to accomplish uh, getting out of that situation. So if you need any other help or assistance, or you have questions, please comment under this video. You can visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com, or you can give us a call and we'll do a free review of all three of your credit reports. Uh, the number is 866-803-5781. Also, below this video or above it, there's a link to get all three of your credit reports. If you do that, you can send us a login and password. We'll review it and tell you exactly what needs to be done. You may not even need to be a customer of ours. We'll just give you point you in the right direction. So again, this is Stephen Williams with thecreditrepairshop.com. Until next time, thank you.